Hello, Restoration Church. This is Brian Leach coming to you with a mid-year financial update. Normally we would do this in person, but we're not yet in our new space, so we thought we'd do it virtually with this short video. So I wanted to give you a quick update. We just a little refresher on our budget for the year. We had budgeted $510,000 in income from our tithes and offerings, and using $90,000 from our vision fund to help fund some expenses in the new space, some new operating expenses. So our total expense structure for this year was $600,000. Through June, uh, we are about 29,144 shy of our income goal. So, and we are $36,000, 776 below our expense budget. So that's creating kind of a net surplus right now of $9,113. Um, Obviously, giving is behind, but the expense savings is coming from a few areas. Obviously, we haven't had a worship director enroll. Um, we have not spent some of the outreach money we have budgeted for the new space yet because we're not there. That will happen in the months ahead. And our ministry teams are not spending everything that's been budgeted as of yet. Obviously, I believe a lot of that spending will happen in the second half of the year. And we are a little bit behind in what we forecasted for our building expenses, things like water, electricity, utilities. We did our best to guess what those would be based on the previous tenants' forecast. So we have a little bit of savings there too. So that means we're about 10% behind last year. If you look at that $29,000 deficit to our giving goal, it's this year's budget's pretty much a replica of last year's budget. So we're behind. We've seen some lighter months, coming through March, April, and June than we did last year. In the last 4 months, you can see that there. The blue bars are 2020 and the green bars are 2021. When we look at our vision campaign, we're about $38,000 shy from our goal. We have a goal of 745,000. We're at 706,000. So we're 95% there. We're almost there. We have a little bit of work to do to close that gap in the months ahead to be able to fully fund our planting deep strategy. As far as spending, or kind of our forecast of spending with that kind of vision fund for planting deep, as you can see, we're about $25,000 above our construction budget, just based on things we couldn't predict, change orders that are happening inside of the new space. We are ahead of budget with things like furniture and equipment, 86,000 when we initially forecasted 50, but a lot of that is our resources to fuel our ministry team. So we kind of look like we're shifting money from this refuel ministry bucket up to help get the equipment that the ministries need to really live into the new space. And so we've taken that forecast down for ministries to 20,000, 70K for this year for our rent differential. It's not quite 90. And then obviously in 2022 and 2023, funding to help cover the rent difference of that new space. So net, if you look at it, it's about 11,500-ish, kind of above forecast. With that said, we're optimistic we can see some additional savings coming through the furniture and equipment line. Our ministry teams are working really, really hard to control those expenses as we come into the home stretch here. So hopefully we'll be able to give you a deeper update in July to bring us closer to what we had expected. And just a reminder, session had approved taking the surplus that we had last year of 25,311 and moving it into refueling our emergency fund. So we are doing that right now. And so we have a little bit of money back in our savings. If you recall, the Envision Fund is being totally allocated to our planting deep strategy with the new space. And so, we're starting over, creating that new savings account, but we are funding this journey and really close to being there. So a few key takeaways, giving is behind 10% behind last year. with that, we're optimistic that our new space is going to create new opportunities to live into our vision and grow God's kingdom. That's really what it's all about, and we're excited about that. We are, despite being behind last year, our expenses are aligned with with what God is giving us. Obviously, it's not, no plan's perfect, but we are working through it, and we have that small surplus of 9,000 right now. And if you haven't done so, please consider making a pledge for 2021. Obviously, our operating account is really important, and the more folks that can give those pledges, it makes it more predictable for us to better understand, what we can spend and not spend. And finally, we want to close the gap on that vision campaign that we have 38,345 to go. So obviously, if you have friends, neighbors, folks who um, would love to participate, or if you haven't had a chance to do that, please do so. That extra funding will allow us to complete that campaign. And if you have any questions about your personal giving statements, or anything around setting up a tithe or consistent giving, you can certainly reach out to Amy Gackney, our church financial analyst and bookkeeper. Amy will be happy to help you. Amy has been sending out statements to folks who've made pledges every 60 days to kind of make sure everyone's in the loop with where they are with giving. And she has a wealth of information to help you with many options that you can consider for giving. So thank you for this time, and I look forward to seeing you in our new space soon.